will show you a couple of things about Scum. We will cover a couple of important subjects about survival. We will answer some of your questions also. Let's what we shall start with. I have made actually here a list of things that I would like to speak about. So, but let's talk first about some things like what is real, what is not real in games. Oh, Jam, what's up?
Hi, I'm in my Scum cosplay.
Yeah, it's like that. so let's talk about the levels. Oh, yeah. Before we start, we have like Jonas doing some real crafting. We got him a prison survival kit. Yeah. John, can you tell us a little bit more about what you will craft?
I'm going to demonstrate the crafting system by making a prison shiv out of a toothbrush by heating up the plastic with a lighter and using a file to make it sharp. Yeah, and then if he doesn't play well, I'm going to stab him.
Okay, sure.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. You can hear me, but now I cannot drink beer.
You can make it work.
Okay, cool. So we will have this experiment so you can see how much time it will be needed to make a really good shiv and eventually kill somebody.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to the game and I'll talk a little bit about the levels of realism and what is let's say real and what is fun and what we are aiming for in Scum. The easiest way to make this presentation is by, let's say, crafting a stone knife. Darian, can you please find a couple of stones for us?
This is gonna be hard, but I'm gonna do my best. First, I need to free some space from my inventory, of course. What am I doing right now? Sorry, the sun is in the monitor, so I'm not seeing properly.
Okay, so while Darian finds a stone, I will talk a little bit about crafting.
Yeah, give me some time.
What do you think? How much time would you need to make like? I will ask JM because JM is from Texas. People from Texas know stuff. So JM, how much time you would need to craft a stone knife?
A stone knife?
Yep.
Yep.
Like take a stone and grind it down into like a sharp instrument.
Yes, exactly.
Depending on the stone, a couple hours.
Couple of hours. Okay, but you're confident that you will manage to do it in first try?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think that it will be good for game to have a feature like that?
In which way? Like where I can spend an hour and a half
because
into a knife and then break it?
For example, I as developer I can see a really good thing about it because you know when you buy a game and you have like this Steam protection from returning. If you make like crafting of stone of 1-2 hours, then basically people will not be able to refund the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of.
I'm all ready. When you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah. So basically, you know, that's a good feature as developer.
Yeah, I'm just gonna magically select both of these rocks and I'm gonna craft a stone knife. I apologize for earlier. It took me a bit to find them because I couldn't see the screen from the sun.
It's all right.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
But this is a survival game.
Yeah.
Your life is on the line.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say that, and people were asking that a lot, is that our game is somewhat perceived as a really complicated game. We have very many different things. People are scared that the level of realism is simply too much for players to handle. That doing some basic stuff will be too complicated. Now, when you try to craft a stone knife in real life, I didn't try it myself. I'm pretty confident, that I will probably do it faster than JM. But it will probably take me a lot of hours. And I watched actually this documentary about this, guy who's like proficient in doing stone knife, and by making stone knife, he managed to cut his hand almost every time. So obviously, making a stone knife is not that easy. Now, in survival games, making tools like stone axe, stone knife was. What are you doing?
I'm just roaming around, scavenging.
Okay, was made in a way that, that basic stuff like crafting stone knife or stone axe is really easy to do, and because this is like first thing that you will do in the game, especially in Scum, because when you get spawned, what you get in United States prison, just the orange jumpsuit and that's all, nothing else, and toothbrush, and you have been in the prison.
Blanket and a pillow.
Yeah.
And a mat. You get your own mat.
Okay. We can give that to people also. It's not a problem. So, how is it going, John?
Getting there. It's working.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that basically we made this first system that we made for the game was working on the trial and error. So you would try to craft a stone knife. Basically, you would find 2 stones, try to craft it. It will take some time. You will fail. You will lose resources. Then you will try again. Then you will fail and try again, and just repeat.
Well, they're asking if my real name's John Dick. It really is. That's the name I was born with.
Yeah. After testing, for basic couple of minutes, we decided that this is not the proper way to go. Although it was made in a way that it was pretty realistic. So we actually comment out this section and made the crafting system, well, not that realistic, but more fun to play. But it's still like in a way realistic enough that at least that how players can, people who play the game or watch the movies perceive the realism of their actions. So basically, all crafting things work currently like this. So you want to craft something, and if your skill level is low, then it will take a lot of time to craft stuff. But you will eventually get there. So there is always a result. You will not lose something. And the second thing is that you will probably, if you're not skillful, make really bad knife, which will probably break easily. Or if you try to use it to cut something, then you will probably lose resources. Now, with that way, actually we're making things that are not so realistic, but they're more like fun to play. And this is like one of the main, like things that we like to follow. Realism is good, but it's not any good if it's not fun to play. So Scum is built like that. Let's talk about the skills.
Can I ask a question about crafting?
No.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah,
No,
shoot.
please do.
Please do.
So anytime I've seen a demonstration of Scum, the characters are all kitted out with a bunch of military gear, high-grade weapons, and all that stuff. I feel like this sort of equipment is going to be relatively scarce in the game, right?
Yeah.
So someone who has all this is someone who has a character that they've held onto for a while, they've built up, they've won this,
Yeah. So what happens if a new player arrives?
And what kind of things am I crafting? What am I looking forward to crafting, like, that's going to help me survive and win?
Now, well, it depends. But basically, when you start the game, you just are there with your jumpsuit and nothing else. Basically, we can add a blanket and everything. That's not a problem. So the first thing that you have to find, and if you ask any, anyone who knows Bear Grylls, they will tell you the same, and that's that you have to find something sharp. Like sharp man or something, like sharp dressed man. Yeah.
Top.
Yeah, definitely. You have to find some sort of blade. Now, when you find the blade, and the first blade, the most like common thing that you will make is probably stone knife, because you saw Darian, and if he managed to do it, then anybody can.
True. That's
yeah.
true.
So then the second step that I would recommend is it depends where you have spawned. If you have spawned in the
Oh my God.
That's my job.
Is that allowed?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're
Drink
testing
some more
mics.
beer.
Sorry, we're testing if equipment works. So if you're spawned in like region which is like mountains where it's cold, then I don't recommend just putting your shirt down and tear it to rags and to craft something that you can carry, because you might catch cold. But if you're more lucky and if you get spawned near the coastline and everything, then you can easily remove your shirt or your pants because it's summer. Yeah. And
nobody wants to see you remove your pants.
Disagree.
You actually told me different thing yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So you can craft something to carry because pants have just limited amount of. There goes glasses. Limited amount of container space that can carry stuff. So by cutting into racks and creating some sort of courier bag or simple backpack, you actually can carry more stuff if you find.
Oh, interesting. Like I would cut out my pants and make a makeshift backpack.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's probably the first thing that I would do. But let me just say something else because we got questions about that also.
Sure.
So what happens if you, because Scum is basically designed for thousands of hours of gameplay, and there is like different types of ways how to improve your character. So what happens if are playing a lot, your character is good, and a newcomer arrives, like new player arrives, spawns on the island who has almost no skill. So what are his chances to survive? Darian, can you just switch quickly to a character creation, please?
Yep.
Okay, so let's say this character who is like proficient in everything, has like advanced rifles and everything, really confident. He also has a rifle full of ammunition, gear and everything, and the newcomer actually is not that skilled with with rifles, but he's like really good in boxing. If these two guys actually meet, if this boxer, because if this guy chooses boxing as his advanced skill, sneak upon this like military guy, he can knock him out easily. So it all depends on how people play the game. There are so much things that can happen, so that there is actually no way that people who are like spending many time in games, like many hours in game, then actually make a super character that can win always. Especially if simple things like diseases or illnesses struck them, then all their attributes probably will be lowered, including skill clamping to the certain level, which means that they will not be capable to perform at their best performance, and somebody else who might be not skillful enough could take them down. So this is how approximately things work in Scum. Okay, now I would like to talk about skills and how. Okay, Dick, please say something.
Talk about skills?
Yeah.
I'm focusing on making this prison ship. I'm like completely out of it. They want me to talk. They want Dick. Okay, apparently.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Less work for me.
Well, less work for you, but the skill system is amazing. I mean, I'm assuming you guys who are watching this have already seen the tutorial videos and heard us talk about it, but skills affect everything in the game. I mean, everything's integrated, and I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this. You guys just told me I was going to make
here's the list.
Oh, you got a list. Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about where are we at?
I don't know. Just pick one.
You're just making it up as you go along. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got 4 basic skills in the game though, and
no, 5.
5. Is it 5?
Yeah. 5.
Yeah. See, this is why he should be talking. Like I've got a good voice, but he knows what he's talking about.
There's a lot of people who like dicks here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're spilling their balls on the floor over there.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? No,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I'm allowed to say they're spilling their balls around the floor. Okay, I don't know. From what I've seen of Scum, I'm really fucking excited. I just can't turn it off, man. I'm really excited about the game. You know, it looks like they've gone into so much detail, depth in like what you can do in the game. But you know, for casual players, if you want to play the game really easily, you can. I mean, you don't have to get into that level of detail. But for people who like micromanaging and like really taking control of their character.
Sorry, Dick, about what game are you talking about?
Scum.
Ah, okay, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys just asked me to talk. I don't know. I'm used to having a script in front of me.
Yeah.
Here, there, yelling at people in a dark alley with a toothbrush shield on.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about skills. How guys you see? Well, it's hard for me to talk with you because you're just writing that you like dicks. But what do you think? How do you feel about what is skill in game? And obviously, skill as a player is really important. But Darian, can you switch to the game, please?
Yeah.
How do you feel? What is important as a skill? No? Nothing? No, nobody knows. So, in most of other games, people regard players' skill as holding the weapon, aiming, precisely killing other players. Now, what is actually different? Can you show us Flash? Maybe.
Sorry?
Show us a Flash.
Flash.
Yep. You know, like, is it like
Oh, you mean the running thing?
DC Flash. Yeah, at least the guys will use something funny. So,
yeah,
Scum
I could show you that if we actually had a numpad keyboard here.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What you actually do in single player, you can actually press number 8 on the numpad and you can speed up your character, and so it looks really cool. We call it Flash because he runs real fast.
Yes. So the thing about how this kind of player skill reflects in Scum than how it is done in other games is in other games, you know, you have some sort of weapon and basically it's up to you to use that weapon. In Scum, actually your character is your weapon, so how you can control that character is quite important. We'll show you a couple of things that might save you your life. Now, just watch what this guy does right now. So, you forgot one thing. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Don't
Yep.
worry.
Close door. Now, what you have seen right now is a skill. These kind of things will save you, will make you better than other players. It's not just using, you know, rifle properly. It's picking your fights to win. Okay. Obviously, let's show a little bit of vaulting and moving through space.
Yeah,
now,
sure.
vaulting and everything regarding moving through space is also partially skill because it's kind of linked with, you know, your character's capabilities to survive, how fast he moves, how much gear can carry. These kind of things might slow you down. So if you're like running away from, I don't know, somebody, for example, let's say that Darian is pretending that two very scary guys are chasing him. He's fully loaded, he doesn't have a rifle, he doesn't have a chance to defend, he would like to survive. So now the best part is to drop his backpack. This is quite easily. He has actually survived, maybe survived because of that, because he's actually dropped his backpack, he has lost some weight, he can run faster, and maybe the other two guys can actually pick that backpack up. They're sort of satisfied with a little bit of loot they received, and maybe he will live another day and, you know, find his own way to make a payback. Now this is also skill and what you can do. Can you hear? Maybe guys, you have any questions so far about something that you would like to hear specifically about the game? No? this is going too fast. Oh, I have to.
They want some dick skin in the game.
Yeah. Jesus, so many I cannot read. Can you can you make them slower?
Right, you guys take turns.
Yeah, well, one at a time. Just make some sort of agreement.
Anti-cheat policies. That's a good one. You guys
Well, we're not going to cheat people.
No, not you cheating them.
Oh yeah, we are using something for anti-cheat, I believe. I'm not a technical guy, so I'm able to tell you exactly. Besides the open world, can you read these questions?
What do you have?
Besides the open world, no, you're just
yeah, they're going too fast.
Yeah. So okay, so can you explain some of the skills?
Oh, wait, those are a good one. Some of the skills, yeah, character creation, about like psychology. Like, is there a psychological effect on the game?
Yeah, no. About skill sets. So you have like one of the skills is education and psychology. Education and psychology covers like, well, this part which tells you if you have went to like elementary school, high school, college. Now, if you decide not to use, that you have not been the part of the formal education, then obviously you don't know how to read and write. If you don't know how to read and write, if you find something like a sign of the city, or maybe if you're sick and find a bottle of pills, you will not be able to read the label. You will have to rely to other players to tell you what exactly is in this like box. And psychology will actually help you to sort of read other players if they are like dangerous to you or not. There's one more point about education, which is kind of cool. With education, if you're like have higher education, you can learn stuff faster because you have sort of learned how to learn stuff, and you can actually transfer your knowledge to somebody else. Basically, this is how it works. No, this game is not third person only. It's actually third and first person only.
Yeah.
But you will not have to worry about it because we have fixed the problem regarding first person and third person problem.
Yeah, I actually have some problems with the enter key right now. Just give me a sec.
They want to know if I'm smoking weed. We are in California, guys.
Yeah, there it goes. First person.
So I'm not seeing what you're currently doing. Okay, can you go somewhere behind the wall?
Oh yeah.
So what we are currently doing in the game.
Oh, maybe we should close the door first.
We actually do not render anything. I mean other players, or like things that might kill you, unless you see them. So we're checking the first person perspective first. Can you? Okay, so basically this guy is seeing a wall, and unless you peek behind the wall, you will not be able to see anything. You will still hear sounds, so you will be able to know that somebody is coming, but unless you have direct eye-to-eye contact, you will not be able to see them. Now, there is also one more cool thing. We're sort of, can you show them, Darian?
Yeah, you want the peek around the corner?
Yep. Try to notice stuff in the background. So as long as you're watching, behind the corner, you will see very sharp things. You will see details. But the moment you stop watching, you will probably see that I cannot see it right now because of the sun and everything.
Yeah, the background's blurred.
Yeah, but the background will be blurred. This blur and how fast it will appear depends on your awareness. Now, awareness skill is something that will allow you to do many things, like notice camouflaged enemies, or it's a skill that defines you how well aware are you of your surroundings. For example, it works in a way if you turn around and look and turn back, and I can tell you that there are 3 guys sitting behind me. One of them is hipster, having sunglasses, and that's about no, there are 2 guys, and there's a huge house. So I didn't notice many things. My awareness is obviously bad, but basically by boosting up players' awareness, you will get more information. If you don't boost, and that's like also optional, because boosting one skills means that the other skills you will not be able to boost a lot. If some of the skills, like also awareness, is not like on a high level, which is obviously advanced. Then you will have to compensate with your own skills as a player. This is what I mean with like character control and everything. So in Scum, like when you compare to any other survival game, you have character who is really real human being. Just let's show you guys what the metabolism looks like.
Yep.
Okay, so what you see here are the results of, well, approximately 1 year of development, and this is something that you will not have to worry about, because this is what we are showing right now is a high-level gameplay. If you're not interested in stuff like that, then you can rely only on, can you turn it off temporarily, on these 4 little stats bottom left in the corner. So you have like, what is it?
Health, stamina,
Yep.
energy, and hydration.
So you just need to follow that, and that's you're good. So you'll know how much health you have, how is your stamina, is there enough energy, you need to eat and drink. Now eating and drinking is something that is far more different than any other survival game. Now when you come to the survival, usually, you know, in games you see survival as and practically everybody told us the same. They expect that you need to find food, drink, you know, weapons, defend yourself, maybe eventually avoid contact just to stay alive. But that's not like the everything regarding survival. What we did is actually, and I personally believe, and you will see the same when you try the game, is that there is no actual survival unless you make a proper simulation of human body, because what we are trying to simulate here is a struggle within our own human bodies to survive, because we are humans, we're built, including Dick here, to survive. Is that right?
I do try to survive.
Yeah. So basically what we are simulating, what happens inside you, you know, in your body to keep you alive. So basic difference between, you know, Scum and other survival games is, in other survival games, when you know, you don't die, you don't eat, you die. Now in Scum, basically, if you don't eat, then you suffer, and you suffer more, and you suffer, little bit more suffer, and then you die. Now this suffering,
sounds like fun.
yeah, well, this suffering is actually sort of struggle within your body to keep your brain alive, because brain is obviously, well, with most people, the most important organ in our bodies.
Yeah,
of course.
not all, but most of them.
Yeah. So you know, people suggesting that you use your own voice as a sandpaper. Maybe it will, you know.
This nail file is not working well. We should have gotten like a prison brick or something.
Yeah. You should improvise. Now, what is going on with your body and how it functions if you don't not eat? Well, it's complicated. It's complicated because, you know, more or less everything comes to sugar, and let me simplify things. So to keep brain alive, you need the simple sugars, you know, like sweet stuff, not to eat, but you know what everything like nutrients are transferred for. And when you don't eat, you basically first, you know, your body takes your reserves from what is left in liver and basically in your muscles. Now if you still don't keep eating, it will first break down your muscle, because they're far more easier to break down than fat. And if you still refuse to eat, which is kind of stupid, then it will start to dissolve your fat. Now this is the process that actually works in Scum, meaning that you will not have to eat a lot to be alive, you know.
So no eating every 15 seconds.
No eating every 50 seconds. You will be able to survive for a couple of weeks. Yeah. Somebody said something?
What happened?
No? Nothing. Okay. So you know, there will be consequences to that. You will probably lose your performance. You will not be able to carry that much gear. That will not happen in just 1 second. So, you know.
So it actually takes time to...
Yeah, it takes time for things these things to happen. But what you also have with this time, it's time of suffering, is like a buffer that will give you opportunity to return things to normal, which is kind of a good thing also. With liquids, it's a little bit different. We're not built to store liquids, we're built to store fat. Store fat is, if we didn't have opportunity to store fat, we'll probably not be alive right now. So having fat is actually a good thing. Now, what you see on the right, and we haven't talked about that, well, I believe till now, are nutrition values. So this is, again, this is high-level gameplay, and you actually don't have to use that, really.
It's totally optional, guys. This is for hardcore gamers, maybe fitness freaks that want to experience.
For fitness freak, this is like game in a game, you know.
Yeah, actually.
But you know, if you're like vegetarian, you know, like vegan, well, Scum is vegan-friendly game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so you can actually play as a vegan, you know, completely, because you can find only plants and vegetables, you know, in the game, and you can just eat.
There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. You can eat just that. So let's say that they find what kind of vegetables do you like? No.
I eat meat.
Yeah, really.
No, I don't really do vegetables.
But you know, if you would like to eat one vegetable,
if I had to eat one vegetable.
What about fruits?
Fruits.
You know that. Sorry, you know that beer is made from vegetables.
Okay, wheat. Yeah, sure. Hops. Yeah. Okay. If I had to eat one vegetable, it would be hops.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can go with the beer. Also, it's
actually food, right?
Yeah, it's food. So let's say that you let's say that you find a beer, and you're wondering, okay, how much calories, proteins, fats, because we have split everything to, you know, like basic stuff. You have like vitamins, minerals, and everything, and you have like your daily, you know, values that you have to reach. So basically, it all comes to how much you eat and how much you spend. That's really simple. Now,
so it's just intake, outtake.
Yeah. So basically, if you're worried about how much calories you will get from one beer, you just go. Sorry. Just go for Google it out. If you want to know how much calories, proteins, everything is in one banana, you find the banana on Google, nutritional banana, and that's what is built in the game. We're not trying to cheat anybody. We're just trying to make real stuff. So it's not like you eat something and your bar goes up. It doesn't work like that. If you eat something, it goes in your digestion system. It's been digested.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not realistic, you know, realistic time, because we have daytime and, you know, 24 hours, and in this like 24 hours, it's not really 24 hours. One day is like 6 hours. No, he's not rolling a joint.
I'm making a shiv out of a toothbrush.
I cannot say.
He's gonna do that later, probably.
Yeah, you're not gonna kill anybody with that. Really, you're gonna get raped in prison.
I'm gonna get raped in prison.
Yeah. So, okay. So we actually simulate, you know, the whole digestion within your character. So what can actually happen in the game if you, for example, eat too much, like you get stuffed, or if, for example, you're like a big guy, I mean fat guy, big guy, you know, and you have ate something and you're under a lot of stress, so you might vomit. So yeah, you will actually lose the certain amount of content from your stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like, you know, you eat something, it's transferred there. No, it's like a real thing going through all your system until
Tell
it's...
me, if you vomit, can you, like, if you lose the half of contents of your stomach, can you eat it back?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, why not? Because it's already warm, and, you know, so...
It's real, right?
Yeah.
There's nutrition in there.
Yeah.
It's nutrition isn't gone.
Yeah. We all did it, right?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but okay.
Yeah.
You need to party with me more often.
True.
Yeah. So, let's talk about, you know, for example, stomach volume. Now, let's say that you're in deficiency with calories, that you have spent a couple of thousand of calories, and you need to eat something, and you find a cabbage, which is, you know, plant, and you eat whole cabbage. Now what happens? Happens is that you will lose the feeling of hunger because you have
Yeah, it's big. Right?
yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Your stomach is full, but your body, come on, we pay that a lot. Yeah. Your body is still starving, so it works like that. You have to be smart about it. Now, the other thing is that we also support what is called a glycemic index of food. Now, this means that food is digested with different speed. If you need energy, like quick, fast energy, you can actually find, for example, chocolate bars, sugar or anything like that. So this will give you instant burst of energy, but it will not last for longer. If you want to, you know, like, can you find an animal, please? Please, let them see something. You know.
Are we going to kill an animal now?
Well,
yeah.
Let's make a deal.
You
Can I
fucking
shoot a
monk.
zombie and chop a zombie? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. That's animal also. One more thing. Did you know, guys, that there are actually no starving vegetarians? Such thing doesn't exist in the world, because the moment your body starts to starve, it basically starts to eat their own muscles and fat. So, you know, I'm not holding anything against
that's
yeah.
horrifying, yeah.
So I just want to understand that people that certain things don't exist. So.
Here we have a chopped up zombie.
Okay, so
You guys can recognize this head actually, you know, made
Yeah.
it. That's him. That's Tom.
no, that's not
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's my brother. I'm much better looking. Okay, so when you actually come on, continue chopping, please.
Oh, more.
Okay. So when you actually find something, either, you know, it's animal or, you know, it's like no zombie. We don't have zombies, but yeah, well, it's explained in the story. But anything which has like meat and everything, you will not just get 2 steaks. There's no, you know, point of, you know, just what's the point if you're chasing a bear and you kill a bear, and it will be really hard to kill a bear. It will probably kill you before. First, yeah, is that right?
Generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bear,
I mean,
you don't want to mess with bears.
You stand a chance if you have an automatic rifle.
If you have
right?
an automatic rifle, you can
Yeah.
take out a bear, but bare-handed or with a toothbrush, you're not going to take out a bear.
Yeah.
Bare-handed bear.
Bare-handed, I like that.
Yeah.
That was unintentional, but
Yeah,
it was
but
good.
that's funny.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think actually a storm is starting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will get a lot of meat. Now, by killing one bear, you will be able to survive. Well, I don't know. What do you think? How?
There's a lot of meat on a bear. You could survive for a while if you could preserve it or somehow. It's
Yeah.
going to go bad
Yeah.
after a
How
while.
do we preserve food in game?
Yeah, how do we preserve food in the game?
I don't know. I'm not the developer.
Really? But you're
Yeah.
on development blogs.
Well, I'm on the development board, sure. But how do you preserve
How
it?
would you preserve the food?
Salt? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. Now, does Mr. Dick play video games?
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
From time to time, yes.
Okay, so you can, okay, this is like good example, salt or ice, but you can also cook them, you can smoke them. So there are,
Cooking, of course.
so there are many ways that you can preserve the food. Now, also there's one more thing. You should be able to, you know, if you just put a steak in your pocket, it will be like,
Yeah,
you know,
like this. Okay.
yeah, just put it. It will be good for a little while, but you cannot expect, you know, to eat something like that after, you know, like.
I just did. Maybe he'll probably get sick, but
Yeah, after, for example, a couple of hours running, because, you know, the sweat from your balls will come to the meat and it will not taste good.
No, it goes bad.
Yeah, it goes bad. So basically, you know, you will have to find first thing to preserve the food, to store it, and eventually to carry it somewhere, you know, with you, because of course you have to have something to eat from time to time. Ah, salt in
Salt
the
in your sweat.
Yeah.
To preserve the meat.
oh
Yeah, that's
That's an interesting idea. I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
yeah, we have to do research on that.
yeah, the salt
Sounds
in the
interesting.
sweat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how this, like, all things regarding you know, like, well, finding food and everything works. Now let's show a little bit about I don't see shit here.
Yeah, it's getting dark and the
Yeah.
sun is, you know, like straight into the monitor, so I can barely see things.
Oh, let me see my. Okay. Shall we talk a little bit about team play? So, what do you think about team play? How should they implement it in the game?
Don't throw these questions at me, man. Let's see. Team play. Well, team play is very important because you want to be able to get online with your friends.
Are you more of a solo player? Or
I'm more of a solo player.
Oh, that's completely fair.
I don't play well with others.
Yeah, but I mean that's the main part of the multiplayer type of games, right?
Sure.
Team play. So Tom, can you tell us something about team play regarding possibly future development of the game, something like a quest line, mission objectives?
Yeah, okay. We can talk about that. We can talk about that. Now, there are like 3 different layers of gameplay. You have seen, the shittiest part of the gameplay on PAX. If you have followed this like action-based gameplay, this is like TV show events.
Yeah, overly simplified. Pure,
overly simplified, pure adrenaline. So, if you just want to try the game, play it quickly, you can, create prisoner quickly, randomize settings and everything, jump into the island, pick up the TV show event, and you're good to go. Now, TV show events will function in a way that they will provide you a certain amount of fame as compensation for your participation in the show.
Did you mention fame points? Or
No, do you know about fame points?
Yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, so we have something that's called fame point system. Now, fame point system, what's the point of playing the game which you are able to, develop your character for hundreds of hours, and then when you die, what happens?
You have to start all over again, right?
Well, that's not like the sort of game that I would like to play. Now, what
Definitely.
you can do, you will be able to do drugs. We will talk about that, of course. So what we will do is actually we have introduced fame points. Now, fame points, you will be awarded with fame because it's a TV show, because there are really like camera drones flying around. No matter what you do, if you're going into TV shows, now TV shows are special TV events that are held all over the island. You can imagine them as a PvP multiplayer. What is called, like sessions? Like
Yeah.
Can we say names of the other games like Call of what and Battle what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? I cannot remember.
Yeah, I mean, we could name the events something like Team Deathmatch and so on.
Yeah, okay, so basically events can be anything. It can be cargo assault, which you probably seen.
Yeah,
PAX.
everything you've seen in action games so far, we probably have it. Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, free for all, capture the flag, capture the cargo, assault,
Yeah,
search and destroy.
Search and destroy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some included only fist fights or melee weapons.
Yeah.
Practically anything. We will eventually add more and more and more, so you will be able to choose many of them. Now, these TV show events happen all over the island. So there is not like, well, there are specific areas, of course, but these areas are quite big. Island by itself is 12 by 12 kilometers.
Yeah, so I just turned on the map.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice map. So basically, this is like 12 by 12 kilometers big island. This is the biggest level built within Unreal Engine so far.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah, and we know a lot. Is that true? What? No, nothing.
Okay.
So you can imagine this event happening on different sectors. Now, what happens if? What do you think? What happens if I'm like a survival player? Sorry. I'm a survival player, I'm sort of surviving in certain area, and I got notification that in like 15 minutes there will be like deathmatch.
On your position?
On my position.
Okay.
So what's going on at that point? Well, for me, it's like a good indication that I should get hell out of that.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of guys with guns there.
Yeah, soon there will be like many guys with guns. Now, what's the difference between TV show? That's actually a good question for John. What's the difference between TV show events, like action-based, and this like lowest, like lower gameplay layer, and for example survival part, which is obviously complicated, that happens you know, on the same island, and it's like a second layer of gameplay. So what is like, what's the main difference?
Between a TV show event and
Yeah,
just survival?
regarding weapons, for example.
Well, with the TV show event, you're going to be sponsored, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can
So
try all the weapons out, right?
Yeah, you get to try the weapons out. You get the sponsors. If you do well, then you get more fame points.
Yeah.
And survival, you're just trying to survive between.
Yeah, exactly. Weapons are very hard to find in
Yeah.
the survival part of the game.
Yeah.
But the main thing is we have to, you know, say it so people aren't worried. You can't take the weapons back from the event into the survival part. That would be totally unfair.
Obviously.
So so basically, what happens? You apply for this like TV show events. It doesn't matter where are you on the island. Now this is still in development, but at certain level will work in the game. You know, we will make cosmetics later. Now, when you apply for that, you will be notified that the event starts in a couple of, for example, minutes.
Yeah.
We're currently playing a single player, so unfortunately we cannot join the event like that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of a, you know, a waste because the real jam is playing with other players, and we're actually solo. So
Yeah. So basically, you are just currently you're teleported to that specific location. You're provided with you will have to pay a certain amount of fame points to enter, like a ticket.
Yeah.
And you will gain a certain amount of like in-game currency money, which is linked to TV shows only to spend on weapons. Now, if you play good, you will earn that currency. Let's say it's like points.
Okay.
And the next round you will be able to buy more and different weapons. The thing about that when this like TV show ends, all these points will be transferred back to you like a fame. So if you're good, you will get more fame. With this like fame points,
okay.
you will be able to resurrect yourself if you die. Now, you actually, you know...
What's the story about respawning?
Well, the thing is that if I, for example, spend a couple hundreds of hours on my character and if he dies and if I cannot continue, that's the problem. Now, that's why we try to explain everything. We have sort of made you know, like story and everything, and it would be kind of cool if you read it because it has many answers to what you're, you know, what you want to find about the game. But basically, this VCU, this chip that you have implant, in back of your head, it actually takes all the information from your body, and this means like all the skills your character has, all the knowledge, and all the genetics, like physical capabilities. So now this data is actually controlled by producers. They have like all the prisoners connected in one huge hive.
I actually have a drone scanning me right now.
Yeah, okay. So this little drone is actually controlled automatically by AI. It's like detecting players, trying to film interesting sequences, you know, broadcasting to the audience who is watching the show. This is the whole point. Now, because the game is set in the future, what happens is that company already has your own clones of your body in the safe position. So when you die, actually, you know, your information get back to the company, and if you're famous enough, they're like obligated to return you back to the show.
Because the audience demands it,
because
right?
audience demands it. So they will just pump everything into new PCU, bring you down, and you're good to go. This is how respawning works in the game. Now, what happens if you lose all fame?
So fame 0.
Yeah, fame 0.
That happens if you play bad, or
yeah, well, that can happen from different reasons. Now, if you're not careful, we don't want to force anything upon players. So basically, no, this kind of looks so scary. Watching you do that.
Let's get it.
Okay, so
What? Okay.
really. Okay, so
we were just getting started.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I had this list and we covered like, you know,
Yeah, two things.
two things.
Regarding the ship, though, this little handle that you use to hang it up, I think it's going to make a nice little blood groove, so when you stab somebody, you don't get suction, so you can pull it right out.
Tom,
like stab
Tom,
them
maybe we should
immediately.
go through some more points on that list, so just so the players know.
You want to run through it quickly?
Yeah, some important parts of the game. Maybe not all of them, but you know, the most important
Well,
parts.
no, all these parts are somewhat important at a certain level.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, okay, I will just
Maybe tracking animals. Can you mention that?
Well, do you have animal to track?
Actually, I can see pitch black here because the sun is on the screen and it's actually rain falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm completely blindly playing here. I mean, players can, you know, viewers can't tell by the way I'm moving. Completely blind. Yeah, that's a bit better, thank you.
Okay, I will just talk about fame then. So,
Okay.
in the survival mode, you will also get fame, but not that much. So, and there is a third level of gameplay which is linked to story-based and everything that will be added during the early access. But basically, it will allow you to leave the island. So, it basically depends how you would like to play the game to experience whatever you want to experience.
Is there any reason you wouldn't like to leave the island?
Well, if you're for example playing a game like Gladiator that goes only in the TV show events, so people have like a fame list and everything. We have the different like 10 levels of fame that you can achieve. Sorry. So basically, if you're like a superstar, like you're famous, I don't believe that these guys will ever want to leave the island because they're living good there. You know, they're not even connected with all other prisoners. They sort of live on the island also, but they don't need anything special because everything is provided to them. You know, the food, the gear, and everything for their sponsors. This is how, you know, this is some sort of living. You know.
They're actually living a better life than they would live if they're not on the island. Yeah.
That's the whole idea. Now, then you have these like survival players who occasionally play action-based gameplay because they want to feel, you know, confident enough that they can survive by, you know, trading fame and not losing their life and gear and everything. And finally, you know, in the same area you have like players who are actually trying to beat the game, to leave the island, to follow the missions, and they're just all of them just at the one place in the one universe doing different stuff. Now let's talk about how these like missions will work. So basically, by surviving, by trying to find things on the island, you will stumble on different kind of clues that will lead you to something that has actually happened before on the island. If you decide to follow these clues, you might, for example, let's say like this: you go to the forest and you find this like really old hatch in the ground, like underground bunker. You manage to, you know, to open it, to get inside, and you see like there's like bloody mess. Something has went wrong there. Something has happened a long time ago, and you hear like noises and stuff, and like secret doors. And if you decide to open these doors, there might be loot behind it, but there might be much more scary things. So all these things will somewhat influence on what, you know, like, and how people will play the game. Basically, you can imagine the game as a, you know, like universe, like a scenery, which is basically sandbox. Nobody forces you to do anything. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to know about metabolism. 90% of my friends eat shit in their life. So you don't have to know anything. You can just play the game whatever you want. But eventually, maybe you will find something that is of some interest to you, and you decide to follow it. And it leads you to something else. And maybe one day you decide, for example, to leave the island and beat the game, and, you know, you will probably fail because that will be really, really hard to do.
We actually already have secret locations on the island implemented.
Yeah,
every sector has at least one, so
they are really, really hard to find.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so
we'll have to leave. We will definitely love to speak more about the game. Tell you about the stuff.
maybe, you know, I wasn't able to find an animal, you know, because it's dark and everything, but you can actually track animals, something similar to Hunter, Call of the Wild, I believe.
Yeah, we have sort of, let's say, similar type of gameplay build. So it's like a game in the game. You can play Hunter, track animals. If you know, like wound the animal, it will bleed, and you can follow the like blood trails, and eventually, if you made like a really, you know, like deadly wound, that it will bleed out, and you will be able to
find a corpse, right?
Yeah, find a corpse.
Also, if you leave that corpse unattended for a long time, it's gonna get spoiled, right? With
really, or the bear will come and eat it. So
yeah,
so you know, it happens. So guys, that's it for now.